Welcome back to The Boys in the Iceberg, the podcast, where we are almost done watching The Legend of Korra. As always, I'm Caleb Bader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
And we have three, count them, 1, 2, 3 episodes that we watched today for your listening pleasure. Because we only have 5 episodes left in this season. I guess 2 now.
Yeah, if you're counting these 2, 5, yeah. Or these 3.
Yeah, so we went and tacked another episode this week so that we can hurry this ride
Caleb,
along.
Do you think that is because we just want to get done with this super quick?
No, that's
or
not possibly
because
the case.
we just love the show so much today we just felt like watching a third episode.
That we just couldn't contain ourselves?
Well, it's one of those two, folks.
Yes, you choose. Whoever wins, we lose. That was a tagline for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
I thought that was a tagline from AVP.
Oh, it might have been as well.
Did they steal that line from AVP?
I thought they used it.
Whoever wins,
or maybe I'm thinking
lose.
of people making jokes about Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. But I mean, it's true.
That's fine. I mean, if BVS did steal it from AVP, that's fine.
BVS?
AVP, BVS.
AVP?
If they did, that's the whole concept. BVS was stolen from AVP. There's a conspiracy theory. Work on that. All right, let's dive into this first episode. It's not called Long Live the Queen.
It's called The Stakeout.
I am on the wrong one.
It's about people sitting around watching other people.
Do you ever watch that Sonic show?
Sonic Forces?
Is that what it's called?
Is it the old 90s Sonic?
No, it's the newer generation of Sonic.
Is it like animated?
Yeah.
Or not like 3D?
Like 3D.
Oh, no, I haven't.
Occasionally I see little snippets of it pop up, and one of the ones that I liked, that I got reminded of while watching this episode was, I thought Stakeouts were supposed to be fun. And then Sonic, he says, I thought Stakeouts were super easy. Like, one guy says one line, the other guy says the other line, and they catch the bad guy. And then his partner says, that's not how Stakeouts work at all. Hey, there's our guy. And I thought it's really funny. Like, it's a really clever show, but...
Harley, we can go ahead and admit it now on air. That's going to be the next show that we do after Avatar.
Hey, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely not. That's never going to happen.
Let's just do a Sonic show. I dig it. Okay, yeah, the first episode is called The Stakeout, and here is your overview. Tracking Aiway to the Misty Palms Oasis, Team Avatar conducts a stakeout to listen in on Aiway. How do you pronounce that? I've already forgotten.
It's Aiway.
During his meeting with Zahir. Discovering the meeting is actually taking place in the spirit world, however, Korra confronts the pair there and learns about the Red Lotus from Zahir. In the physical world, Team Avatar, DOS, is split up and both sides are captured by different enemies.
Is that it?
That's it. Let's just go to the next episode.
Yeah, okay, so moving on. Long Live the Queen.
Which is the better episode.
Let's talk about it just a little bit.
Okay, the stakeout, nothing really happens. I mean,
no.
The meetup, they watch the stakeout, they confront Zahir reveals some stuff, and then it's over. Like that's the end of the episode.
Okay, so I think we should just talk about stuff that we did not like in the episodes. Like, I didn't like how when Korra was in the spirit world, they could have just taken Aiwai's body with them. They just left it there, and they were going to let him go meet up with Zahir, but they could have just captured him.
Yeah, but they could have. But now Korra did watch. That's a cool thing that we talked about. We're not going to talk about here in a minute. But she did watch Zahir throw Aiwei into that misty thing that we watched Tenzin and Kai and Boomy walk into, and so he's gone forever spiritually. So his body's going to decay. And
that's what
forever.
You think, but Tenzin got out of it.
Maybe. Well, I don't think Aiwei is as smart as Tenzin.
I don't know.
He's also not a main character, so we don't care.
Yeah. So we had a theory during this episode that Zahir, during his time in prison, had been meditating and gotten pretty good at spirit world stuff. Because he's teleporting all around, zipping, and like throwing people places.
Well, also, there's the scene where he and Korra are talking. He sits down and talks to Korra, and you think he might be stalling, but then the way he acts, you're like, I don't think he's stalling. He's just talking to Korra. And then at the end, he leaves and he goes, by this time, my friends might have found you. And that is because you see him talking to Korra in the spirit world in a spirit form, but back in the physical world, he can still talk to his friends or his partners, and he tells them where Korra's at. He says, the Avatar, Misty Palms Oasis, go get her.
The inn.
And that's awesome. That's so cool.
It's really cool. So this episode, I mean, we can't really go into much more detail.
There's not a lot of detail to go into.
Overview. So basically, all that happens is they stake Aiwei out, and then they follow him to his meeting place with Zahir in the spirit world, and then they get attacked, and they have to fight off. And
There's a dumb thing about Pi Show.
yeah, so I think that they're
there's
trying.
not much going on
So what surprised me about the Pi Show thing, I thought when she pulled out the Pi Show board, they're going to set up the White Lotus, and then have that segue into the Red Lotus later. They didn't even mention the White Lotus.
I just think the
and
whole
Pi
thing
Show.
with Misty Palms Spring Oasis Inn thing was just a callback to when, especially with the Pi Show thing, was just a callback when they met the White Lotus gang and the Oasis. I think that's what that was.
But I really felt they were going to set up the Red Lotus with talking about the White Lotus while Bolin and Asami were playing, but that didn't happen. But we did learn the identity of the group of Zahir. They are the Red Lotus, which is an answer to the White Lotus.
Which I can't remember who did what where.
It was
but some guy broke off kind of like a Count Dooku thing, and started a whole new section, and it was the Red Lotus. He didn't agree with what the White Lotus did because the White Lotus teamed up with the Avatar, and that was apparently they weren't supposed to take sides.
Yeah.
Which reminded me of those people in Marvel, like the big heads,
the Watchers.
The Watchers, and they're not supposed to. They're supposed to observe.
Yeah,
that's what they're called, the Watchers.
I think they're a little bit different. Well, because what they were saying, or what Zahir was saying, was that after the 100-Year War, when the White Lotus basically stepped up and helped stop the Fire Nation from destroying everything, that they came out of the shadows, and it wasn't a secret organization anymore. So they had to take a side.
So not quite like the Watchers, but I do specifically remember in I think one of the Ultimate Alliance games, the Watcher does interfere with something, and then he's
I think you die, don't you?
I think you do.
That's basically what it is.
And then, spoiler alert for a game that's 10 years old.
Let's just talk about, that's our next podcast.
There you go.
Just talking about Ultimate Alliance.
Why don't we play games like that? There's plenty of games like that. There's Ultimate Alliance 2, Justice League Heroes, etc., etc. I'm sure there's plenty of games like that.
Okay.
But anyways, they take that Watcher who interfered, and I think they kill him or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, we can't
cut
have
his
this.
head off.
Yeah. But I don't know. This episode didn't provide much except for a little background with the Red Lotus.
And some pretty cool fights.
Not as cool as the fights we're going to get 2 episodes from now, though.
Yeah. But, I mean, why don't we just talk about the fights now and not dwell on what we
I
won't
think
talk
this
about
episode,
yet.
because we watched 2 more episodes, this episode pales in comparison to the other 2.
Well, and I think it's also a worse episode than the other 2.
Oh, for sure.
Just to begin with. We get some Lynn doing detective work with the Jeep, maybe? Or is that in the next episode?
I don't know. Does it matter?
It doesn't really.
It doesn't really come up with anything.
This is a bad episode. I'm just going to come out and say
there
it.
was the scene which reminded us of Scooby-Doo with Asami was in the background looking through a Jeep.
Oh, yeah.
And she finds a clue, and she's like, I think I found a clue. And then it says where the guy's going to be that night, and that's how they find out where, what's his name's going to be at Iway. And it just reminded me of the scene from Scooby-Doo 2. A clue! The faux ghost.
It just feels like they weren't really doing anything.
Nobody was doing anything.
No.
We weren't doing anything.
That's the problem. Yeah, I was just sitting here watching.
Yeah.
So I guess they were doing more than I was.
I don't know. I feel like that, even though that was 5 minutes, I think we wrapped up that entire episode with.
Yeah, I think that's like.
It might not have been a neat little bow for your Christmas pleasure, but it's after Christmas, so get over it.
Your Christmas pleasure. That's an interesting phrase.
It's the name of my brothel.
It's
seasonal.
Yeah, it'll only in December.
We rent out of the alley behind Starbucks every year.
If that's the end of the episode, Harley, why don't we do the trivia?
Why don't we?
So this is actually pretty interesting. If you didn't watch it while it was airing, this episode was originally scheduled to air on Nickelodeon on July 25th, 2014, before the show was moved from the channel's lineup to digital release.
And that was just did they just digitally release half this season?
Yeah. So not even half. The last 5 episodes.
That's so dumb.
So I don't get why.
I feel like their viewers had to have dropped, plummeted, or they came up with another show.
But they did
another
season.
They wanted to push the show off. But it was all directly released online. That last season was released online.
I understand that, but why even make the last season if there wasn't?
Maybe they wanted. They felt like they didn't tie it up very well. Even though I feel like Zahir is the strongest. Of the villains.
Yeah, Zahir's really cool.
He's my favorite.
Maybe they were trying to do something like push people over to a digital platform instead of TV. If they could make money on ads or something like that. Were they experimenting? Or did they just not want to show this on their channel?
I don't know, because it did I don't know how well it did.
I think it did pretty okay.
I think we should look up how many viewers it got per season. Like if it fell down like with the Chronicles of Narnia films. Like every film lost $100,000 extra like per film.
Well, of course.
And then they're gonna do a fourth one now. Like in a couple of years, they're gonna release a fourth one with the guy who did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and that's amazing to me because they're like, "Hey, here's your last movie ever. It's Narnia."
Yeah. Okay. Next piece of trivia. This is the first episode of Avatar franchise to only be released digitally during the respective book's initial run. So the same piece of trivia I just read twice.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on. Korra's gesture towards the tavern patron. Okay, I can't read. Harley, would you mind taking this over?
Korra's gesture towards the tavern patrons recalls a similar gesture made by Katara and Sokka by two teenagers in The Blind Bandit.
To
two teenagers.
Okay, the man on the cover of the book Bolin found in a drawer at the Misty Palms Inn largely resembles Bruce Lee.
Which is what we thought.
It looks.
I don't
like
think
Bruce
it
Lee.
largely resembles Bruce Lee. It's
No.
just somebody doing the pose with black and white, like black and yellow. Like that's. I think that's
as
the
much
extent of it.
Bruce Lee as you get.
That's all you need for Bruce Lee.
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about: Korra's appearance while muzzled and restrained in a straitjacket resembles Hannibal Lecter from *Silence of the Lambs*.
We did talk about that during the show, though,
But
because we were
no,
quoting.
but we
quoting
didn't.
Silence of the Lambs.
We didn't talk about the end of the episode, which is Korra and Asami get captured by what you think is Zahir's men.
Oh, that was actually pretty cool. The little
But
sleight
it's
of
not.
hand.
It's the Earth Queen.
Because they send. So they have that big brawl in the inn, and then
Korra
Bolin,
and Asami escape on Naga.
yeah, Bolin and Korra, or Bolin and Mako have been captured by
Bolin and Asami.
the water arm girl, and then she sends the Earthbender guy,
Hong Mi.
that guy, after
No, that's the water.
after Naga,
Mi Wow.
and then it shows Naga running away from the Oasis, and then she gets captured by Earth, and you're like, oh, so he caught up with him, and then Korra wakes up in a full Carl in a full body garb, and she's like, "Look what happened!" And what we get caught by Zahir's men, and Asami goes, "No, it was the Earth Kingdom." And you're like, "Whoa, that's a cool sleight of hand. That was dope. I dig it." And then that was the end of the episode.
Yep. Okay, moving on. We're gonna muscle through this. Harley, do you have the "Long Live the Queen" pulled up?
No,
As that is the next episode.
no.
And we are going to talk about it now, once you get it pulled up. And I am stalling. Still stalling. So Long Live the Queen. Cool title, I think. Stalling. Harley, got anything for me over here?
Yeah, so on an airship traveling to Ba Sing Se, Korra and Asami manage to escape from their restraints and holding cell. Very stupidly, I might add. But their attempt to hijack the vessel causes it to crash in the middle of the Si Wong Desert. From crushed remains of the ship, Asami creates a makeshift sand sailor. And with Korra's airbending, the two girls and airship crew escape the desert, as well as a monstrous creature pursuing them. In Ba Sing Se, Mako and Bolin are imprisoned while the Red Lotus bargains with Earth Queen Houting. I didn't know that was her name.
Houting?
Houting. Upon discovering that the Earth Queen's forces have lost custody of Korra, however, Zahir kills the queen and orders Ghazan to tear down the city's inner walls. He then releases Mako and Bolin, instructing them to deliver a message to Korra, the Avatar.
We got it. Thank you. Yeah, so this one starts out pretty dumb. It gets dumber.
Does it?
Yeah, because it's when Asami breaks them out.
Oh, yes.
So they're in the.
I read the overview myself, and I comprehended none of it. I just read here, people. I don't.
They're
listen.
in the airship, the Earth Queen's airship, or one of the Earth Queen's airships, and Asami's chained to a handle or a rail on the wall.
Basically like one of those handicap rails in the toilet at a public restroom.
Yeah, and then Korra, they got her completely strapped down with a muzzle on.
Exactly like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, it's pretty much the exact same thing. And she's just like completely tied down. Asami's just got like some loose fitting handcuffs on. And Asami is like, oh, I'm going to break out now because I've grown super strength. And then she pulls the rail from the wall with 6 metal bolts in it. There's no way.
I think there was 8 actually.
Was there 8?
Kind of 4 holes on each. For the brief time she showed it, I think there were 4 holes in the little pieces.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, which is not possible for anyone her size.
No, and even people larger than her size.
And then she uses said shoddy workmanship to pry up the floor with that bar. But that's just no. Well, you pointed out something that was kind of funny to me. It was brief. And you said if she's walking on it and it doesn't bend, why does it just fold when she tries to pry on it?
Yeah. So the floor is made of metal, and she uses like the side of the rail to pry one up, and then it crumples like you would see,
like aluminum, aluminum foil.
Yeah, that's basically what it's like. But it was pretty thin, and it didn't even move when she walked on it.
It's dumb, man. It's convenience issues, like plot convenience. When somebody decides that this needs to exist this way, but then when they need to like escape or make the plot move further, they make it design they design it this way, and it's dumb. I hate plot conveniences like that. Like the floor's made to walk on, but
the floor's lava.
If I need to fold it, then I can do it with this bar that I can just pull off the wall with my super strength.
What if the Asami's a metal bender?
Secretly.
Do you even take that into consideration, Harley?
No, I just always assume Asami's a tool. You're right. Whatever. Maybe she is a metal bender. My bad. My bad, guys.
But yeah, so she ends up busting Korra out because, of course. And I wish they would have done something more original than that, because that's what happens in every time your good guys are jailed up. One person busts out and then goes and hits a guard.
Help! My friend is sick in here.
Yes, they did that exact
man.
thing. Oh, we need some help in here. There's something wrong.
That sucks.
Where's your friend? Oh, there she is, right behind you.
My stomach! He said the pain would stop!
Is that...
Do I get my phone call? Something like that. I probably miss...
So that was
Mason's going to get mad at that for me butchering that entire scene.
That scene was a little bit different. Yeah, and so after Korra broke out, and I guess Asami with her, they decide to do what all people do when they are on a ship. Let's just crash the ship. That's the solution to our problems.
And then it turns into Flight of the Phoenix.
Yeah, basically.
Then they remake their ship and they
thing.
fly off. That's it. Then they happen to get chased by this huge thing. No, that's
No.
literally Flight of the Phoenix. Their plane crashes, or their vessel crashes. They repair said vessel, and then at the end of that movie, they get chased off by some local. We'll say local because it was at the time it was a band of like nomads in Flight of the Phoenix, but here it's this giant shark.
A sand shark.
Sand shark.
Literally a sand shark.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, they spend time repairing the ship. There's a whole standoff of the crew who still wants to capture Korra because they've been given orders by the Earth Queen.
For some reason, they gave a name to one of the characters. Kong?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know.
they
What was the captain's name?
It's Captain
Hook. Because he had a hook for a hand.
Which apparently was like this big spoiler thing or something.
I don't know.
Like he held his hand in his pocket the entire time.
It was like a reveal.
And at the end of it, it was like, oh my god, he has a hook? What? I would have never saw that coming.
But yeah, so Asami does what Asami does, and she's able to fix this airship because she works on the airships, let me tell you. She knows how to work on them.
You brought up a good point. I still hate Asami as a character, but that was the point you brought up. Anyways, moving on. No, you said that Asami should have been portrayed as this tech character because she's the one who drives the vehicles, and she's the one that fixes things, but she doesn't do it often enough to be portrayed as a character, like a pivotal character in the group.
They should have Donatello'd her right up.
But they didn't, and they kind of just force her in there, and she doesn't do anything when they forced her in at the beginning, and then she just faded to the background through the rest of the series. And then at the end of the series, you'll find out.
I think it'd be pretty cool if Asami was like a Batman sort of deal where
that'd be dope.
She acts like sociable and stuff during the day, like she's always going to parties and stuff, and then at night she's this vigilante.
But no, they even gave her that gauntlet at the beginning of season 2.
Yeah, where's that at now? And
then she doesn't do anything with that. Like you're like, oh, she's actually going to be a part of this team now. And she's actually going to hold her own, but she doesn't do anything.
Apparently, she's just super strong.
Like I don't know why they thought they needed this character. I think just to hold the group 4 mentality. Maybe 3 just wasn't doing it for them. But if they're gonna,
they needed a non-bender.
If they're gonna create a character, create a 3D character. You've given me nothing as a character.
They should have made
She's
her
just pretty to look at.
Yeah, they should have made her like a really hot nerd. And she was just
exactly like
just a
Donatello. You're not wrong.
nerd. Yep. Exactly like Donatello. Green. a mutant teenage turtle that is a ninja.
She's just a massive, but she still has really long, pretty hair.
It's Donatello in a wig.
Every time a camera pans over, it's like just slow motion, and there's background like wind chimes being flicked in the background. She's like, flips her hair in the wind. I'm here to work on your computers. But it's literally just Donatello in a wig.
Yes,
I'd buy it. That's great.
There we go.
that's what I want.
We made the series that much better.
That's what I'm into.
So they get trapped, and they repair the ship finally, but then they have to go down to like a windsurfer because their ship gets destroyed by this giant shark, and then they just reenact that scene out of Sahara.
Yeah, literally reenact that scene out of Sahara. But just the fighting, the
windsurfing thing. Yeah.
But then they crash the windsurfer.
Really nothing else. They don't crash the windsurfer, do they?
They do. Because they show up and it crashes, and Asami says her one line in the entire episode saying, she probably has another line, but I don't really listen to her. She says, anybody want a reused windsurfer?
They didn't crash it, I don't think. It not beyond repair.
But then they crashed it right next to what you saw in the wide angle shot. Zuko's dragon.
There was a dragon down there. I was
which
like,
was
gonna be
close attention to detail.
Yeah, that's cool.
He parks the dragon with the windsurfers.
Yeah.
I like that.
At the dock or whatever. I don't know why they need
If I was Lord Zuko, I'd park my dragon anywhere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care.
Why did they have a dock? Because there was like a wooden dock that led to sand.
I don't know.
Do you need that?
Yes, that's what you need.
I mean, I guess.
Tie off your sandboat.
So what were Mako and Bolin up to in this? Oh, they were captured, weren't they?
They
were in prison.
This was the episode where we kept talking over every scene Mako and Bolin were in, and I was talking about stupid things because we didn't care.
No, so they were captured by Zahir and the Red Lotus Society, and taken to the Earth Queen as like a gift. I think.
I think so because I think they helped
That's why
bust out
Zahir was there.
the Airbenders. Which was why the Earth Queen is involved in this anyways, because she's mad that Korra and the gang stole her airbending nation. And Korra's like, well, it wasn't theirs to begin with. They were the earthbending,
So Zahir
citizens.
and the Red Lotus Society show up, and they act like bounty hunters. And they take Bolin and Mako to them and throw them in prison, and they're waiting around for their reward while spying on the Earth Queen.
Something like that.
Yes. Yeah, that's how it is.
I really just zoned out in this episode.
Yeah.
I'm
just waiting till the end.
I'm doing that a lot. Well, because I think I've gotten to the point of the mentality of the show itself doesn't matter, but the end is always some cool fight or some cool climactic moment.
Like,
You're
this one and the next one really did that. Like none of the episode before mattered until like the last 5 minutes.
But Zahir there are little bit of details like the way he scales that wall with airbending. That's pretty cool to spy on the dialect.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He's such a cool character, and he's always calm. He's always just very reserved.
He's definitely the best villain. He's the best part of this show right now. Everyone else, I could take him or leave him, but Zahir is cool.
We didn't get much with Aiwei. Like you were like, oh, he's this turncoat.
Yeah,
and then he just gets murdered.
Well, he had a stupid earring,
and I was like,
connected to his nose. So who cares about him anyway? So Zahir, I think, does he get impatient at the Earth Queen? And then runs in there to confront her.
Well, because his plan originally was, this is what I told you during the show. I did not understand this the first time I watched it, way back when he does kill the Earth Queen. I was like, that's a cool moment. Why did he do that though? I'm now paying attention to the show more or less, and we had seen that when he talked to Korra in the last episode in the Spirit World, he had discussed with her saying, "We are going to kill the nation's leaders." That way, chaos can reign free because
he says
order. Go ahead.
The natural order is disorder,
which is a really good line. But so that's what he's trying to do. So it makes more sense to me watching it now. I'm like, oh, I get it. That's what he's going to do. He's going to kill the leaders. That's why he kills the Earth Queen. And it's a really cool scene because he sucks the air out of her lungs and then creates kind of like what do you say, a vacuum around her head.
I don't know. I didn't see the vacuum.
That whole circle thing around her head.
Well, yeah, but
it's like is Aang's little ball of air that he puts underneath him to fly around.
He took
and
the
he
air
put it on top of her head.
He took the air out of her lungs, but then she could just breathe again, right?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe she died as he was pulling the air out of her lungs, and then and that was like her last gasp of breath, and that's how she died.
So they did another really cool thing in this show, I think, or in this episode more specifically, that we get a build up towards Bolin metal bending, because in the past episodes he's been trying to metal bend but can't, and so they really play it off like he's going to have to do it in this jail cell to get him out.
But then there's a better payoff because it's a joke, which is what problem I have with Bolin. He doesn't really do anything serious.
Well, he's
always
trying.
He's just the butt of every single joke. Like he is like the Sokka of this series, but he still can bend. But so do you think he's gonna get like a Sokka moment where there is a
sword?
Maybe he can.
Maybe he can.
Maybe he can metal bend.
Maybe he can have a sword.
But
I don't know.
But he metal bends a sword and then kills you with it. But we see him in the jail cell with everybody.
That just takes all like the weapons manufacturers and stuff. They don't. We have metal benders now. We don't need you to forge
get
things.
Out of
Get out of here.
But we have they're in the jail cell, and then he tries to metal bend, and then as soon as he tries to metal bend, all the doors unlock except for their own.
And he thinks he did it.
And
because they really he does like a form or whatever, and it makes you think that he's going to just get the ability.
So were you just thinking like Zahir standing there waiting for him to like do that, like his last part of the form like technique, and then he pushes the button.
There's that guy's right next to him, the other Red Lowe's guy. He's like, "Hey, watch this. This is gonna be really funny."
That'd be great. Zahir is actually a comedy genius.
Yes.
And then he sends them a message. He does this really cool thing, though. He tells them to send a message, but he does this really cool thing where Mako immediately attacks Zahir, and he dodges it, and then
he just like steps out of the way,
throws him back into the wall with airbending, and he goes, "I'm not here to fight you. I just want you to send a message."
He's like, "I'm going to let you go."
Like he's so calm,
yeah.
And I just love his demeanor.
That's another really cool thing in the last episode with Korra. He's like, when they meet in the spirit world, she's like getting ready to fight him. He's like, "Hey, we don't have our bending. I don't need to attack you. Let's just talk." And he just sits down.
Even though he was manipulating her and stalling, he's for the most part, he's very straightforward. He's just like, "This is what I want to do. Like this is what that was his." And from my point of view, that was his monologue.
The
right
Jedi
there.
are evil.
That was his yes. That was his villain monologue right there. Was him sitting there down in Korra in the spirit world and telling her his whole plan.
He's just an anarchist. But
also, he wasn't just monologuing, waiting for the good guys to beat him. He was monologuing, waiting for the bad guys to catch the good guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was a twist. It was a bit of a twist. Flipping the script. Way to go.
See, and that's what we need more movies like James Bond movies, if that were the case. Like, and not just like monologuing for monologuing's sake so that something can happen, that the good guy wins.
Why was that always a thing? Was it just because people just weren't okay with villains winning? Like, who was the first villain to win in Hollywood?
Harvey Weinstein.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the end of the episode. Zahir gonna deliver a message, or we get a little bit of Zuko, I guess.
Oh yeah, we do. We don't just get Zuko's dragon at the dock. We get Zuko and Unalaq and Lin.
Yeah, and they don't do anything. So
they're in this episode.
Let's just move on. Trivia. This episode was originally scheduled to air on Nickelodeon on July 25th, 2014, before the show was moved from the channel's lineup to digital release. So is that the same date as this is the same trivia from the last episode.
Are you still on the last episode?
Yes, I am. Okay, this episode was leaked on August 7th, 2014, making it the 5th episode to be leaked from Book 3 Change.
That's interesting.
I guess.
We do mention the putting them online though. We talked about the viewership. I just wanted to throw this in there. The book one actually, the series premiere averaged 4.5 million viewers, ranking it as Basic Cable's #1 kids show.
Wow!
And top animated program for the week with total viewers. And then, so book one air drew in an average of 3.8 million viewers per episode. So that's pretty good, for what it's a 16 episode viewership or something like that. 14, I think.
Yeah.
And then book two Spirits premiered with 2.6 million viewers.
That's not bad.
And so that's pretty good. And then book three Change aired in the season had about 1.5 million viewers. So it's progressively going down, almost about 1 million per season. So I think the viewership definitely was going down, which is why I think it would have just leveled out with season 3 because I really like season 3. But I'm looking at the chart here, and season 3 is just a disaster. So like you said, the first 7 episodes were the ones that were released on television, on cable, and then the other episodes, the last 5, were the ones put on online. So they made a decision. They said, "Hey, we're pulling the plug on this." Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of curious how the last season got greenlit then, if they basically did pull the plug on it.
They might have already had it planned and everything, and they just wanted to have something on their digital platform.
Maybe.
I think that's what makes the most sense to me.
I didn't watch a lot of Nickelodeon when this show was actively airing. So
Neither did I.
All right, moving on.
This is the first known instance of an airbender killing someone outside the scope of self-defense.
Maybe that's why I liked it too.
Because he's an airbender?
Well, we've only ever seen like Aang airbending like stuff through the series, and it was not for violent purposes because they're monks. And then Tenzin was a monk. Every time he was attacked, he was just defending himself, and he never killed anybody.
I just really wish we got Evil Aang. I think Evil Aang would be really cool.
I totally forgot that we did that. That we
he just goes evil.
That'd be so cool.
It would.
Just have two avatars at the same time.
Yeah,
just conflicts with the mythos. You
could have the dark avatar without having Tone Rock or Unalak or whatever his name
Someone
is.
we don't care about.
Yeah.
Well, that was. Is it this episode or the next episode where the air temple gets ambushed?
That's the next episode.
Okay, so we'll go about. Hold on to that
with
about not caring about characters.
And with that, let's move on to the next episode, The Ultimatum. And Harley does not have his phone up yet to read the overview. So.
And by phone, you mean brand new MacBook Pro in our studio.
2017.
Yeah, because
it's got a high-resolution screen.
Living the high life, and we have an actual studio. Overview. While Ba Sing Se descends into chaos, Mako and Bolin commandeer an airship and set course for Siwong Desert to find Korra and Asami. While flying over the lower ring, they stop to take their family with them, because we were introduced to their family a few episodes ago, saving them from fires sweeping through the city. They reach the Misty Palms oasis and find Korra and Asami and relay Zahir's message. Korra will exchange herself for the survival of the Air Nation. In an attempt to warn Tenzin of the Red Lotus's imminent arrival at the Northern Air Temple, Team Avatar heads back to Zaofu to use the radio transmitter. The warning comes too late, however. The Red Lotus captures all of the temple's inhabitants. Tenzin, Kaya, and Bumi try to fight off Zahir, Ming
but are
Hua,
all killed in the process.
I wish, and Ghazan respectively, but are eventually overpowered. Although Kai nearly sacrifices himself to help the rest of the airbenders reach the bison stables and escape, Pali corners all of them.
Spoiler, because we didn't know Kai survived.
Well, we did. We saw in the episode.
I didn't see him survive.
The little baby bison caught him, remember?
I don't remember that.
At the end of it, he fell down from the tree.
Remember
it was dumb. Because I'm avidly against you setting up a scene where somebody looks like they sacrifice themselves, and then in that same movie or episode or 10-minute span, you're like, nah, they're still alive. Don't worry about it. They did that with, spoiler alert for Marvel's The Defenders, with Marvel's The Defenders.
Hey, I haven't seen Marvel's The Defenders yet.
I already told you about it, so I already spoiled it for you a long time ago. With Daredevil, they're like, we're going to kill Daredevil and drop this whole building on top of him. And then at the end of it, they're like, at the same episode, they're like, nah, he's still alive. And I hate that so much. Just be willing to kill a character. Bring it back in another movie or another episode. Let us have time to be like, oh, dang, they murdered that guy. They mean business. They can do whatever they want to because it's their characters.
I think that they should actually kill the actor, whoever plays the character, when they kill the character off.
Like Kevin Spacey.
Just so it can't come back. Yeah, like Kevin Spacey. And everyone else, I guess, also. Okay, so this episode was pretty cool concept because I think in the last episode Zahir says something to the effect of, it's time to stop chasing the Avatar. Let's make her come to us now. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go murder all the Airbenders so that the Avatar has to come stop me.
Which was a risky play, or a strength play. Strong move. It was a good move, Zahir. But I thought that was pretty cool that he's like, we're just going to take out the entire, like they've let them build up this entire season in the foreground. You're just kind of like, huh, the Airbenders are doing things. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, they're not. They're dying. And then he takes them all. And I thought that was really cool. And yeah, we do get that stupid self-sacrifice from Kai, which he thought was worthwhile, but it really wasn't.
It was fine.
We get a really cool fight from Tenzin and
it's
Zahir,
so good.
though.
Yeah. This episode's mostly just fighting. Like,
basically, fighting to a purpose. Like, kind of.
I don't even really remember what else happens, though. Other than the fights.
I don't either.
I don't know. I guess it's just all building up to the fight, and then they just fight a lot.
Which is fine, because the fighting choreography is...
Oh, it's so good.
So good. This is the first Airbender on Airbender fight we ever get.
Save it for the trivia.
I really liked that. And we discussed it during the episode, too, before we went to trivia. So.
Yeah, okay, so another thing that happens in this episode is Korra goes back to the spirit world to see if she can find Zahir and, like, tell him not to kill the Just tell him not to kill the Airbenders, I guess. And she runs in to an old friend.
Master Qui-Gon. No.
Uncle Iroh is in the, I guess, General Iroh, or whatever you want to call him now. Spirit Iroh.
Ero.
No, he's in the spirit world.
I am a firm believer that the movie is canon.
He's doling out wisdom to Korra, and I was not paying attention to what he said. It had to do with something about Zuko. But we did something I'd forgot up until this point was that Korra no longer has access to her past selves.
Yeah, they haven't really played on that a lot recently. They just kind of went away with it.
Yeah, because that's another dumb thing about the show. They don't bring it up and just expect you to know that that's why it's not brought up.
It's not a constant problem. It's just a problem when it's convenient to be a problem.
So I don't really care about it because it doesn't affect anything because they're not talking about it.
Hey, actually, you know what? I do agree with the viewerships because as we trudge along through these episodes, even though we're critically analyzing them, we ourselves we're only on season 3 and we just want it to be done. Well, we're just so close to being done. And if you watch in our episodes, don't go back and re-listen to our episodes. Please, I beg you. But if you listen to our episodes, we like it at first. We like it more than we thought we would. And then we're kind of like, okay, it's not as great as we remember. And then we're like, we just want to be done, man. And it's not just the show either. It's we want to be done with the whole thing.
So if I could binge this, though, I would like the show. If we weren't watching 2 episodes a week and then talking about it, I would be into this.
And is that because binging is now a societally acceptable thing?
I think so. Because and
don't get me wrong, I love binging.
Not like binging, like I'm just going to watch the entire thing.
I'm talking about binge eating.
But these are pretty digestible. 13 episodes of 30 minutes.
22 minutes.
Oh, okay, but a 30-minute TV show.
Yeah, if you were to sit down there and watch all the commercials.
Yeah, I talk about 30 minutes an hour long. It's the same thing, but it's not that much to go through, and I think that if you have all the episodes laid out, it will work a lot better.
It's more cohesive.
Yeah,
especially I like. What season was it we watched with Avatar: The Last Airbender? We watched it on something different, like on Hulu or something.
It was the last season.
It was
parts of the last season.
Was it the season finale where they cut out the theme and the theme of the second episode and the end credits of the first episode, so it just flowed together like a long movie?
I think they cut out all of it because it was the very last episode was a 4-parter, and they only did the intro once.
Yeah, and it was like a very long movie, and it was good. I was just thinking just a second ago, why didn't they give us like a TV movie? Like they did it with stuff like Prison Break or Firefly. They gave us a TV movie. I think that would have been a really cool send-off as opposed to giving us a dumb M. Night Shyamalan film.
Yeah.
You stay in the animated realm.
Yeah, I don't know. Why do we never get an animated movie?
I don't know. Have we ever gotten an animated movie, TV movie? I'm not talking about SpongeBob. A TV movie with an animated series. Have we ever gotten that before?
I would assume so.
Maybe I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Lilo and Stitch.
Did we get a movie from the TV show? We got a TV show from the movie. I know that. We got a lot of stuff from the movie. Holy smokes! There was like 3 sequels, a TV show, a couple games.
2 TV shows.
Was there 2 TV shows?
If I remember correctly.
I only remember one. It was Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, but I think there was another one.
But we had Lilo and Stitch. I think we had Stitch the movie. Stitch has a glitch, and then I think it was Lilo and Stitch the movie. I don't know. There's a lot of sequels with that movie, which is fine. I love the movie. The sequels didn't really do a whole lot for me.
I don't think I ever watched them.
But the TV show was good.
Yeah, the TV show was good.
Which we discussed.
Did we talk about this
Why
last
do we talk
episode?
about this every single week? Let's just segue into Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, so you heard here, our next series is going to be Lilo and Stitch.
I'm so excited for that, actually. I'm on board, guys. I'm hashtag Lilo and Stitch. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get it trending.
We'll own the entire hashtag.
Okay, so let's move on to the fight. Because I don't really want to talk about Tenzin and Zahir's fight. Because I think it was the best.
But we didn't get enough of it, I don't feel like.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been the whole fight sequence and Kaya and Boomy go away. But what I really like is, so far when we've seen Zahir, he has been a master airbender. He has whooped up pretty much everyone he's fought. with no airbending training whatsoever.
And I think that has to do with maybe he was acrobatic when he had his reign of
Maybe
terror.
we don't.
And
that doesn't really play in the fact. I think that he's just the right personality for airbending.
But he's also been meditating for 13 plus years.
Yeah, so he's in control of himself. But now we get to see him against a real a legitimate master airbender
who has been
Tenzin.
airbending their entire life.
Yes, and he's not all powerful anymore, and I think that's really cool. And it's also the first time we've ever seen airbending against each other.
Yeah, which is what I said earlier. But you told me not to say that because
but now that you said it, I can
it's
say
fine,
it now.
Hypocrisy.
And so one thing, it's not hypocrisy. You already brought it up, so it's free game now.
How dare you treat me like this?
Fair play is what I meant to say. So one thing I thought would be really cool is sort of a live action version of this, where you don't see the air and you just see two airbenders fighting, and they're just flying around all over the place. I think that'd be.
Are we doing
cool.
that just for comedy effect?
Yeah,
or for serious effect? It'd be really cool.
It could be cool, serious.
Like
too.
somebody dodges it, and they're kind of their hair kind of flies over to one side,
and you get to see their clothes moving and stuff whenever they're hit.
That'd be dope. There'd still be the noises too. That's the thing I don't like. They do the Force in Star Wars, and in the animated stuff, you see the tangible. It's a tangible. It kind of has a blue hue.
See, I don't like that.
But
that's
in the live
Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, I know. But in the live action stuff, you don't see the Force. It's just it happens, and then whatever they do with it happens. You don't see some hand reach out and choke that guy.
You don't see the individual midichlorians reacting with the Force.
Exactly, and that, as a Star Wars fan, is where I draw the line.
Yes. Yeah, but I don't like the visual Force. I think it's cooler.
Which is the one thing that on that remember that Star Wars: The Old Republic trailer I showed you last week, which is a good game. It's my plug for the week. Go play that game. Star Wars needs their fans from us. That's the one thing that I have a problem with that trailer was that they showed that Force in that scene, but in a lot of other scenes they don't show the Force. So I don't know why they did.
Yeah, that's odd.
If it was a power thing. If they just had so much energy going away from their hands, you could see the air.
The Force lightning.
The airbender, I think that'd be neat. If they were just controlling so much air that it was barely visible.
We're not talking about Star Wars anymore?
No.
Okay.
If it was barely visible, I think that'd be neat. But if it's just a light breeze, or you're just attacking as basic attacks, but if you were just so strong.
But when can you see air?
I don't know.
Even in hurricanes, you don't see air.
I know, that's crazy though.
Yeah. So I don't think that we should ever see it.
So could you adapt this to live action without seeing the air?
Oh yeah, definitely.
With making a serious film.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You think so?
I think so.
It's not with him in that Shyamalan. Let's give it to Michael Bay. Let's pass it all over to Michael Bay.
They could do it. What a cool thing would be is if they did it in the rain and they had to airbend in the rain.
That'd be dope.
And you could see the water getting blown all over the place.
Like that last scene from Daredevil where they turn on those fire sprinklers. You can see everything.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Ben Affleck's Daredevil, ladies and gentlemen. Rest in peace, Michael Clark Duncan.
Rest in peace, Ben Affleck.
Also, yes, rest in peace, Ben Affleck.
No, rest in peace, Ben Affleck. Please, that's what I said, and I'm sticking by it. Okay, and then also in this we get the Kai's sacrifice thing, because he's noble now and he's not a thief. And is it Plee or is that the waterbending girl?
Plee.
Yeah. Is that
I think is the really tall girl with
yeah. So she's up in an airship that they have someone flying around. There's just another person flying the airship.
There's a fifth Red Lotus member.
He's the one in control. He's in the shadows. He's the puppet master. But yeah, so they're flying the airship around, and Please just laying waste to all the other the acolytes or whatever.
She's kind of rounding him up.
She's a sheepdog, really.
Yeah. She's doing a really good job of it.
So Kai's like, yeah, enough of this. I'm going to go sacrifice myself so you guys can escape.
Which I don't like this character enough to let him self-sacrifice himself, but self-sacrifices are cool, man.
Kind of.
But only when they actually are self-sacrificed. If that kid actually would have died, I'd have been like, yes.
One thing I think that this show gets wrong is they want to have all these payoffs for these characters. They're like, oh, Kai's going to go sacrifice himself because he understands now that he needs to be part of something other than just himself.
He's developed.
But they don't set it up.
No.
We've got a couple scenes with Kai.
No setups, just payoffs.
Yeah, so they don't do a good enough job of making me care about these characters. Like I was telling Harley when we were watching, Boomy and Kaya, just let them fall to their deaths. I don't care.
That's what I was going to bring up earlier. I was going to tie back into us. I was talking about the last episode. I don't care enough about these characters, and it's supposed to be reminiscent of, because they do things like this a lot, reminiscent of the old Avatar show. When Sokka and Toph are hanging on the end of the airship.
Yeah.
And, Toph's, or
So
Sokka's,
you're burning all the trivia for this episode.
Sokka's like,
There's only like 3 things. You can't just say all of
Sokka's
them.
like, the boomerang's not coming back, Toph. And then they get surrounded by Fire Nation dudes. And then, like they get hit or whatever, they have to fall or whatever. Like, it's supposed to be a moment, but I cared about Sokka and Toph because we were with them for 3 seasons, almost every single episode. Well, Toph for 2. But, but Kaya and Boomy haven't been around for 3 whole seasons, or even 2 whole seasons. They haven't been around every single episode. So I don't like them. We haven't got enough with them.
I think even if they were, I wouldn't care about them.
And yeah, this sounds I don't know, counterintuitive? No, maybe not.
That's probably not the right word.
Probably not the right word. It seems a little bit stupid to what I'm saying. What we said before a few episodes back when we talked about Kai and Boomy, when we had their little family moment with Tenzin, we didn't want to watch that either because we don't care about these characters. Like, if now we're asking, hey, give us more of these characters, we might care about them. But no, you didn't give us enough.
Yeah.
And you forced it on us the wrong way for viewing pleasure, which is why your ratings went down, because you weren't doing things the correct way.
Yeah, Nickelodeon. Tell them, Harley.
Take that, Nickelodeon. And I think that's why, this is a universe people wanted to get in, but you didn't execute it well. You gave us too many characters. You Spider-Man 3'd us. You gave us too many characters and not enough payoffs. And that's how I gotta say,
everyone has to have like their own separate story.
That's why I hate Sam Raimi.
What, do you hate Sam Raimi?
No,
I mean,
I like doing stuff like that. With I was talking to somebody yesterday about what was it? I don't know, Jews, I think. But no, it had nothing to do with Jews. But it had something to do with idiots. And I said the end of my statement was, and that we should just round up all the idiots and just end them. And I go, and that's why I think Hitler was right.
Oh, good.
I just end it with something that has.
I'm gonna have to cut that out of the podcast.
It was sarcasm.
So,
but
I think that's a good sentiment to end this episode.
That's why Hitler was right. Nobody comes back to listen to our next episode at
No,
all.
absolutely not. We're going to experience more drop-off than Nickelodeon in the 4th season.
There's one Nazi viewer, and now we have just Nazi viewers. He tells all his friends.
I'm sorry, if you're a Nazi, please don't listen to this podcast. Anything just short of a Nazi, that's fine. But a full-fledged Nazi, no thank you.
Full flooded.
Yes. Okay, so let's do some trivia. This is the first time Milo is seen on a glider by himself.
I don't remember watching that, so I don't care.
I don't remember.
I did like that shot, though, with Zahir and the glider in his hand that he stole on the airship, looking over the air temple.
And Tenzin's like, it's too late.
That was such a cool shot. Like, I was like, yeah, it is too late, Tenzin. You're done.
This is the first time in either series where 2 airbenders are... Okay. Thanks, Harley.
Oh. You're welcome.
Oh, actually, this is a cool one. One of the airbending moves that Tenzin uses during his fight with Zahir is similar to the one that Aang performs in the opening sequence of the show. He does like the I don't even know what you call it, bend over backwards.
He stands on one foot and bends his entire back from the other foot to the tip of his head, parallel with the ground, and sticks his arm out too. It's like it's a yoga move. I can't remember what the name of it is, but
plank, reverse plank.
Sure, why not? And then shoots him with the air, and it's really cool. He dodges the air and shoots him with the air at the same time.
I like how it's the same one that Aang uses in the opening. I wonder if they're like, hey, that's a cool move. We need to put it in the show sometime.
No, Caleb, it was a father-son moment.
Was
where
it?
Aang taught Tenzin how to do that, and they spent all day, and Tenzin just couldn't get it right. But then, by the end of the day, after hardships and working to the bone of his fingers, he finally mastered it.
Did he? I don't think so. Oh, that actually gives me a cool idea for the show. What if when Korra loses the ability to get to see all the avatars, someone else like Freaky Fridays it and gets the ability to do that? And so Tenzin can talk with Aang now.
Hey, Dad, what's up?
Yeah.
just calling it. Tenzin, you've called me 3 times today. Leave me alone. Let me just be dead.
That would be cool if, like, the Avatar, all the past incarnations of the Avatar got split up over, like, a whole bunch of people, and they all had to come to the same place and put it back in Korra. I think that would be pretty cool.
That'd be neat.
It would.
But would those people still be alive, or would they try...
Nope, they have to kill them.
That'd be cool if like every one of those people,
Oh.
1,000 people, like they had to make that decision. Like, hey,
do you want the Avatar? Or do you want to save these 1,000 people?
like he'd be like, hey, these are your choices.
That
like
would
some people
be-
are on board with it and some people aren't, and that's the decision. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a civil war within the Avatar.
And then some of the avatars
so
are just
cool.
gone because they don't kill them.
Yeah, that's so cool.
They Korra has to drain the energy out of them. That would be pretty cool.
This is what I like about like fan fiction, not the smut fan
Yes.
fiction stuff, like actual good fan fiction.
What do they call that? Doesn't it have a name?
What
I don't know.
fandom stuff? I don't know.
No, like that, like the smut. It's just smut.
I think it's just smut.
Oh.
That's what I've heard it called.
I thought that it had a different name. But I don't know.
I get on Tumblr occasionally,
Oh,
and I've heard of different things like an app called Wattpad or something like that, and a lot of Tumblr users use stuff like that, and they make fan fictions, and I like the idea of fan fictions because
Yeah.
you and I could just make a story, which in our heads, in our head canon, is canon
Cooler.
in our heads to this story.
Yes.
I have now just described head canon. I just admitted that I'm on Tumblr, and that I know what Wattpad is.
I don't think that this is.
Throw me off the
I don't
this
think
building.
that speculating on what could have happened is headcanon per se. I think that's something like an explanation that you have.
That's
that-
what headcanon is.
But that would work inside the show that you already have.
Yeah, like I have this cool headcanon that
Tenzin-
that move was
Yeah.
taught by Aang. And
Yeah,
then
so
it
that's
was like that.
headcanon. But is it headcanon for me to be like, oh, this is how I think it should have gone? Is that the same thing?
I don't know.
Is it in the same category?
I don't know if you
If
can.
not, there should be two categories.
Maybe because like there's people get confused with like this is very deep Tumblr stuff. Tumblr fandom of all things. AU, which is alternate universe.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's. I think alternate AU is actually canon. I think. No,
it's not
AU
canon.
is not canon.
AU is what you want.
AU
like,
is what you want.
something that could happen in an alternate universe.
And then headcanon is what you believe happened to describe this moment that you
Okay.
see in canon. And then there's one more that I can't remember what it is, but that's where I learned words like canon. Like I was like, I don't know what this means. But like if I talk,
I learned canon from the Catholic Church.
if I talk to a layman about canon, they're like, "What's that mean?" I'm like, I just forget.
You
that
know, like
I
in-
didn't know what canon was a couple years ago.
You know what? Like in pirate ships, they had like weapons. That's what it is.
Like a catapult.
No, like a cannon. What pirate ship has a catapult on it? They have cannons. That's like that's a pirate canonical thing.
Headcanon accepted. Pirates first use catapults.
Head catapult accepted. That would be pretty cool, actually, if pirates had catapults.
Like that was the first thing. It was
Well-
like just giant trebuchets and catapults.
The Fire Nation
Yeah.
had catapults,
There you
and
go.
I'm sure that some of the pirates had them too, because I don't think they had cannons at that point. So
That's dope.
head cannon for Avatar, pirates had catapults.
And we're back to Avatar now.
Yes, and with that segue, the way Boomy hangs onto the branch to save Kaya is similar to how Sokka hung on to the Fire Nation airship to save Toph.
Good thing I didn't mention that during the episode.
Yep. So out of the 4 pieces of trivia, Harley burned 2 of them. Thank you for that. And guys, that's going to do it for us. If you want to send us an email, just use boysintheiceberg@gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, that's @boysintheberg. As always, I've been Caleb Bader.
And I'm Harley Davis.
We are the Boys in the Iceberg. And we'll see you here. And we'll see you here next week